This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, the topic is sets, the another data type or collection you can say. Okay, the set, if you remember, it's a collection of items and it don't allow duplicates. Okay, in the same way how we used sets in our mathematics in our school days, in the same way we can use sets in Python programming also. How to declare a set and all we'll see. Okay, before that let me write a couple of words about this one. And what we have to remember is no duplicates are allowed. No duplicates allowed for sets. Next point we need to remember is insertion order is not preserved. Like listen tuples, when we are adding some items, the order will be preserved. Based on the order, we use it to use indexes and we can access the items. But in sets, that is not the case. We cannot access them using the index. The reason is the insertion order we don't know. Okay, that will automatically considered. And it is a mutable collection. It is mutable. We can add more data, that is possible. It is growable in nature. Growable means we can add some more data. Because it is not because we are unable to preserve the insertion order, we cannot access using the index. I think this is clear. How to declare a set? It's very simple. If you want to declare a set, you have to use the braces and you provide the values here, 2 3 4, whatever the values you want to do. Okay, s equals to, within braces you have to provide the data. Again, any type of data, heterogeneous data. Then so yeah, we can add the data here, and we can perform some sets operations in Python. We'll see some examples. Okay, first we'll see how we do general sets, then we'll see how we can do in Python. Now, let me take two sets. If you remember mathematics, we used to write like this: set A, set B. Okay, I'll take this as a set A. A. This is B. B. Done. Okay, I want to add some elements to set A. One. One second. I don't want bold, italic, underline. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. I'll add here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3 are in same line, but don't get confused. They are the elements of A. Okay, if I want to know what are the elements of set A, what are the elements I have, I can say like this: A equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These are the elements of set A. B equals to, what are the elements I have? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, if I declare A equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, B equals to 4, 5, 6, 7, they are two sets. Okay, they are two sets. In common, they have two elements, 4 and 5. 4 and 5 are the elements we have common. Let us see what are the set operations we can perform and what the results will be. Okay, let me write here. How many of you remember? I don't know. What is the union? Union of A and B? Like I can say A union B. What is the value I'll get? Union. Union is not common elements. Union is all the elements. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are all the elements we will get for union. Okay. Next, intersection. Intersection. Okay. If you try intersection, then you will get 4, 5.
4 and 5 only.
Yes, 4 and 5 are the common elements. So common elements will be known as considered as part of intersection. Next, difference. Difference. Okay, I'll say, for example, A minus B. If I say A minus B, what would be the output here? So all the elements which are available in A should be considered, and B should be ignored. So A minus B, if I say, I'll get the output 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 would be the output. For your reference, let me fill the colors. Now, yellow, green, and orange. Letters are clear, right? Yeah. So A minus B means yellow will be considered. A minus B means yellow will be considered. So all the elements which belongs to A and which should not, uh, um, the elements which are available in B should be excluded. That is A minus B. If I want to get B minus A, what is the value I'll get? I'll get 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8. The orange part. B minus A means orange part. Okay. And difference we have, intersection we have, union we have. And if I say symmetric difference, difference is a symmetric difference. For that, in Python we use this cap symbol. Symmetric difference means we'll get yellow and orange. Output would be like this: 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Let us see in Python. This simple thing we'll see now how we can write in Python. Okay, I'm taking IDLE, fresh IDLE. Okay, so now I'm declaring set A equals to, you can use small letter also, so anything is fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. B equals to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Okay, now if I say A, if I say B, I got the data. If I say type of A, what I'll get? I'll get a class set. Set means we know the set is the data type here we are using, right? Now we'll see how to get the union in Python. If I want to get the union, I can use pipe symbol like this: A pipe symbol B. That is a union. A pipe symbol B. Also in Python we have method also. You can use the operator, you can use the method also. So union of B. A dot union of B, you can say. Either A pipe symbol B is also A union B, and A dot union of B is also A union B. Both are same. Okay. Intersection. Intersection, if you want to use A and B, you have to use ampersand. Intersection. Okay. What are the common elements here? The colored, green colored items are the common. So 4 and 5 will come as a output. For intersection, we can say A dot intersection of B. See, I got the 4, 5 as my output. Next, difference A minus B. Difference A dot difference of B. That will also give the same output. Symmetric difference A cap B. I forgot to provide the comments here. Symmetric difference. I'll get all the items which are not common. Symmetric difference means I'll get the all items which are not common. That means 4 and 5 will be excluded and all the elements will be considered. For symmetric difference, also we have a method. Symmetric underscore difference of B. Sorry, I think the case is different. Symmetric underscore difference. I got the output. By mistake, I provided the wrong case. So it's given error. Okay, I got it here. So far, good. Any question? Okay, I think no. So we got union, we got intersection, we got difference, and we got symmetric difference. Okay, say for example, I'll say like this. I will write like this. For example, A I know, B I know. So if I say A equals to A minus B, what happens here? If I write A equals to A minus B, Harini, let me answer your question. C equals to 1, 2, 3, comma 4, comma 5. Not accepted. Not accepted. Not accepted. Nested set is not possible. Okay, I mean nested set, when you're declaring another set, if you want to keep inside that is not possible. I tried list also, it is not accepting. Tuple it accepted. Okay, but coming to your question, maybe if I have A equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if I have some D equals to 1 and 2, okay, what is the relationship between A and D? You can say D is the subset of A. Okay, subset and superset concept will be there based on the values we have or elements we have in the sets. Okay, but you cannot keep the entire set inside another set. That is not accepting. Okay, let's come to our point. I'm trying to say, what does it mean? A equals to A minus B. Is it allowed or not? Yes, it is allowed. First, it calculates A minus B. A minus B we know 1, 2, 3, and that 1, 2, 3 will be assigned to set A. So A value will become 1, 2, 3. Okay, this can also be written as A minus equals to B. Both are same. These two statements are same. Even in normal integer values are for integer or floating values also, this is same. A equals to A minus B or A minus equals to B. When you want to use the same variable as assignment and for difference or addition also, when you are using for both, you can combine the statement like this. In sets also you can combine like this, and it will take the value. It will consider the A minus B and it will assign to variable A. Okay, so we have some methods like this. Say for example, A dot update of B. Okay, I'll tell you what does it mean. It means A equals to A union B. Okay, if you say A dot update of B, that means A union B will be calculated and A union B will be assigned to variable A. Okay, next, we have a dot intersection underscore update. Intersection update means a equals to a and b. This is the meaning of it. So a and b will be calculated and that will be assigned to variable a. Okay, this is one method available here for us. The same way we have a dot difference underscore update. Difference underscore update, that is equal to a equals to a minus b. A equals to a minus b is also known as a dot difference update. Again, we have a dot symmetric underscore difference underscore update. This is also there, symmetric difference update. That means a equals to a cap b. A equals to a cap b. This way we have some methods, we can use them where we can perform some operation and we can update the left side set also. Okay, you can give a practice for this one. And as I said, say for example I have d equals to 1 2 and a equals to 1 2 3 4 5. I have like this. So d is known as subset of a here. D is known as subset of a. Let me show you. For example, I'll take d set. D equals to 1 comma 2. 1 comma 2. If I say d is less than a, I'll get the true. Less than means subset. Okay, greater than means superset. A greater than d, if I say, it will give you true. That means it is a superset. That way you can consider. Okay, done. How to add a new elements to variable sets? How to add new items to set? Okay, I have d set like this 1 2 3. I want to add some elements, right? A dot, sorry, d dot add maybe 10, I can say. So 10, one item 10 will be added to my set d. Okay, of course it is added at the end. Don't assume that it will always be added at the end. We can't determine the order of the elements added to the set. Okay, let us say d dot update. D dot update, maybe can provide something like this. What happened? 2 comma 3. If I say d, 2 comma 3 are added to my set. Okay, when you want to add multiple items to your set, you have to use the update. When you want to add only one item, you have to add the use the word add, I mean method add. So add one item, update means multiple items. You can update multiple items using set also, like a d dot update. Okay,
Kamal,
I'll say yeah.
hello, Kamal, I could not understand the D dot update 2.3.
Okay, d dot update 2.3 means you are adding multiple items here. Multiple
Okay,
when okay, d dot add means one item 10 will be added to your set. 10 will be added to
yes,
your set. Okay,
okay,
when you want to do multiple items, when you want to add multiple items to the set, what you have to do is d dot update. You have to use update,
okay,
and you can provide some collection here. Okay, I provided some list here, list of 2 comma 3,
okay,
and 2 and 3 are added
yes,
here. Okay, 2 and 3 are added here, but remember the order is changed. Okay, don't assume that order will always be same. Okay,
okay, okay.
okay,
And it
now
will not allow the duplicate, and it will not allow the duplicate.
even if you provide duplicates also, it will remove the duplicates and it will give you unique
Okay,
values only.
okay,
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 previously also I have 1 comma 2, but here I added 2 comma 3. So ideally 2 is added 2 times, but I'm seeing only 1 time. Okay, next d dot update of a. I said a is a set. I have 1 2 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, a is 1 2 3 4 5. D dot update of a, I said here. So what happened here? 1 2 3 4 5 10. So all the common elements are considered here, and what are the elements not available, 4 and 5, they also added here. Okay. Okay, we have seen add, we have seen update. How to remove the element? To remove the element, say for example, I want to remove 10 from the set d dot discard of 10, I have to say. See, discard is the method, discard is the function I have to use to remove an element from the set. Okay, I'll make a note here. So a dot add 10, for example, adds one item to set. Okay, a dot add some collection 10, 20, adds multiple items to set. Next, sorry, a dot update here, a dot update. Okay, a dot discard of 10 deletes the element from set, deletes or removes. Okay, these are the things we need to remember as part of a set. Let me save this.
Come on, so we can remove only one item at a one time from the set, or is there any facility to remove a multiple, I mean the values from the set?
Generally one item, but let us try. Discard, I'll say 1, 2, and we'll try. No, it's not accepting. D dot discard. Remove an element. See the intelligence it is saying. Remove an element from a set. Only one element we can remove. What if I provide a collection? No, it's not accepting. Discard will do only one element removal at a time. Okay. Just keep this for your reference when you have multiple collections and when you want to compare them. So what are the common elements we have, what are the different elements we have, intersection we have, like that. When you want to perform on any collection, you just remember that the set we can use. Okay, and we have one more set, frozen set. Okay, same like set, we have another guy that is known as frozen set. Frozen set. Okay, as its name says, it is same like set only, like it will contain different elements and no duplicates. Index will not be there, same rules. The only thing is it is immutable, not changeable. Okay, once you declare the frozen set, you cannot make any changes to the elements of it. You cannot add them, you can update, you cannot update, you cannot delete. Okay, so how to declare a frozen set? For example, you have one set here, you have one set here, s equals to say 1, 2, 3 you have. Okay, you want to declare frozen set, f s equals to, you have to use the keyword frozen set of s, that's it. Okay, f s equals to frozen set of s. If you say like that, it will become a frozen set. And you cannot add the elements to it. You can keep it like a package. It's like locked package. You can share in the network if you want to pass from one location to another location, or like that you can use it. You want to keep the set related advantages and you want to lock it, you can use the frozen set. You want to see, if you want to see, I can quickly show that. So for example, we have some sets, right? A set we have like fs equals to frozen set of a, I'll say. Fs is, see here, the output frozen set of and set values we are getting. If I say type of fs, it will give frozen set. if I try to add an element like fs dot add, it will give error. Frozen set has no attribute called add. Add function is not allowed in the frozen set. Okay. And as part of data types, I need to tell you one more data type actually. Of course, it's not so important, but as part of syllabus, consider this. So we got one more data type, byte data type.
Okay,
Byte.
but come on, just one thing. So frozen
Yeah.
set is always be created by using the set. Not there is no any facility that we directly create the frozen set.
Generally, we create using the set only. Using the we declare the set, and based on the set only we can create. But
But
I think,
initialize
but
directly we can initialize.
yes, let me try. I think actually the type conversion might also work. Let's give it a try. 1, 2, 3. I'm giving a list. Yeah, it's working. Okay. Generally, we do like frozen using already declared set. We declare the frozen set, but using another collection also we can do. Right, 1, 2, 3. I have taken as a list, and I try to
Kamal,
convert. Yeah.
Kamal. But in the set we use the parenthesis.
The set. Okay, you have to think this way actually. Okay, how you have to think here? 1, 2, 3 is a list actually. It is a list, and we are converting the list into frozen set, and that frozen set will be assigned to fs. Like how you convert a floating value into integer value, like that you are doing here in this line.
Because in
In
the
this
frozen
line,
set we are getting the I mean the small bracket and the parenthesis.
uh, it's okay. It's okay, Sonal. It accepts. You can provide. Okay, let me tell you this way. One second. Give me one moment. Fs equals to. Even I didn't experiment this. The reason is we don't use them in daily basis. Okay, as part of syllabus we are discussing. Okay, you remember this way. Frozen set is same like our set. Okay, it will contain set related properties, plus it is locked. We cannot add any data, we cannot delete any item from the frozen set. I think that is clear. How to declare a frozen set? You have to use the keyword frozen set, and that is a method or function, the function you have to use. And here you have to provide some collection of elements. That collection of elements you can provide either as a tuple, list, or set. Anything is acceptable here. It is accepting. Okay, any collection is fine. You have to use the function frozen set to convert that collection of items into frozen set. We can remember like that. I think
Okay.
this is clear now. Okay, anyone is having any question about this one? In our regular programming we don't use them very much. Maybe if you go to data science or that area, statistics, that side, if you are working at that time, this complex numbers, sets, these types of things comes into picture. If you are going to web development or AI related, some other kind of things you may not get, but if you get a chance to work on stats related things and data science related things, when you are performing some comparisons, maybe you may get a situation to work on this kind of things. These are something extra comparing to other programming languages we have. Okay. Okay, let two more data types are there. Let me cover as part of syllabus. So one is a byte data type. It is like again a collection only, but one limitation is there. It can store only numbers from 0 to 256. 0 to 256 is the max size of the element. Byte means actually byte means the size is 0 to 256. It's a common. It's common. When you're saying byte means it is the size allowed here. Okay. So if you have something like this, maybe list or tuple, if you have say 10 comma 20 comma 30, okay, you can declare that to bytes array, like bytes of x, you can say bytes of x. When you said like that, that will be converted into bytes. Okay, you may ask me, when I have a list or tuple, why should I use bytes? Okay, simple thing is it takes less memory comparing to lists and tuples, because it is limited 0 to 256 only. Here 10, 20, 30 I provided, these values should fall under 0 to 256. If I provide 258 here or 500 here, it will not accept, it will give error. Okay, I mean, here no problem. While x equals to 10, 20, 30, there is no problem. When you are converting that into bytes, that will give error. Okay, it accepts only up 0 to 256 only. Okay, let me write that also and will show you. Say for example, I have one collection. I have one
It is,
collection
I
here.
think, a fundamental data type.
Yes, fundamental
Okay.
collection data type.
Collection.
Okay, yeah, it's a collection again, because multiple elements are there, right? When you have multiple elements, means that is a collection. Okay,
Okay, but what the special benefit we are getting by using by doing this, by we have created the list
uh,
and then we are converting to the
uh,
byte type conversion.
as part of syllabus, this I'm covering. That is point number 1. Okay, you don't have to much worry about this part. Okay, that is point number 1. Point number 2, one small advantage is when you are dealing with small numbers, you can go for the bytes. Okay, and one small advantage is, as the size of byte is fixed up to 256, the memory allocation will be uh, it's giving it is taking less space comparing to others. Okay, and one more thing here is, once you converted into bytes, you cannot make any change here. Say for example, b equals to byte of x. What happened? Sorry, bytes. B equals to bytes of x. Okay, now b I have, that is into bytes type. Okay, if you want to access, that is the same way. Indexes will be there, you can use them, and negative indexes, positive indexes, everything will be there, you can use them. Okay, this is about bytes. But just remember, bytes is a collection. It contains elements only from 0 to 256. Bytes are immutable. Once you assign some value, you cannot change it. Say for example, if I say b of 0 equals to 200, it will not allow. Okay, that you remember. I don't mind even if you ignore the bytes also. Bytes and byte arrays, even if you ignore for now also, I don't mind. Okay, as part of syllabus, remember, we have two data types, bytes and byte arrays. Okay, byte array, that is why I'm not more focusing on it. It's not too important for us. Okay, just I'm covering as part of syllabus. We have similar thing, byte array data type, same like bytes. Okay, the declaration is same, the size is same, 0 to 256 only we can store. All the things are same. Only thing is, in byte arrays we can add, we can update the existing elements. That is possible. Updation is possible in byte array. Okay, that is the only difference. I'll share a notes related to this part. A couple of examples will be there. Just refer when you have some free time. Okay, mostly next week I'll try to share all the core Python related notes. Okay, just keep it as part of syllabus in your mind. Just remember, one data type, byte and byte array are there. If someone asks you, so you should at least have some idea on it. But in real time, are you using it? We don't use frequently. Okay, not so important. Done. Any questions so far? Are we good? Are we good to go to the next topic? Let me save it. It's saved. Let me save it also. Next topic is important. we are getting closer to programming. Sets. Next topic we need to talk about is operators. Operators. Anyone has idea about operators?
Yes.
Okay. What are the operators? What does it mean by operators?
Operators are the which do our work.
Which do our work. Any other better solution, better definition? Insert, can we add any type of data? Yes, we can use some different types of data. Yes, it is possible. We can use, okay, operation between two operands. Yes, that is definition, correct. Combination of operators and operands. Okay, operators are like the symbols. You can say plus symbol, minus symbol, star symbol. These are the operators. Okay, when you use these symbols, they perform some operation for us. The symbols used to perform some operation against the operands. They are known as the operators. Special characters or symbols used to perform some operation or action against the operands. Again, I'm using a new word, operands. What does it mean? Say for example, I'll write like this: 10 plus 20. Here plus is known as operator. Plus is known as operator. 10 and 20, which are available in the left hand side and right hand side of the operator, they are known as operands. They are known as operands. Okay. What operation it will do? When you are using plus symbol, it will do some operation. Mathematical sum will be calculated using the plus symbol, and that will be returned. Okay, this is the operation it will do. Right. So that way, these operators will help us writing our logics and to perform some logical comparisons, to perform some mathematical operations. We use the operators. Okay, there are basically 7 types of operators we have. Let me list out one by one. One is arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators. Next one is relational operators. Relational or comparison. Third one is logical operators. Fourth one, bitwise. Logical operators are very, very important for us. Logical operators and relational operators. Our complete programming life depends on these guys only. These two guys very important. We should be very much comfortable with these two guys. Okay, bitwise operators we don't use much in our daily life. Assignment operator. Assignment operator is easy, we know that. And there are two special operators like identity and membership. 7 membership operators. Okay, these are the different types of operators we can use in our daily programming life. Let us try to cover arithmetic operators today. Okay, what are the arithmetic operators we have? Most of the things we know. If something is new to you, I'll tell you. Plus operator. Okay, that is known as addition operator. For addition, plus, we know this, right? 10 plus 20, 30 it will give, that we all know. Subtraction, minus. Next we have multiplication, star. 10 star 20. If I provide 200 will come as a output, that we know. Multiplication we know. Like next, division operator. We use forward slash for the division operator. Say for example, if I say 20 by 10, what is the output? I'll get the output as 2. Okay, that is a division operator. Next we have modulo operator. This is also important. Modulo operator. What is modulo operator? How many of you know modulo operator? I think these four items are clear to everyone. Those who are new to programming also, it's very clear to everyone. Modulo operator prints the remainder. Yes, okay, it gives the remainder. Say for example, if I say 5 divided by 2, 5 divided by 2 means what it will give? It will give 2.5. Okay, if I say 5 modulus 2, 5 modulus 2 means 2 into 2 is 4, right? 1 will come as a remainder. It will not convert into decimals. It will take the remainder. So if I say 5 modulo 2, it will give the 1 as a output, or I can say 1 is the remainder and the remainder will come as a output. Okay, this is also clear to most of the guys. Next operator, this is a little new. Floor division operator. Slash. Okay, floor division operator, what it will give? If I say 5 floor division operator of 2, it will give 2 actually. So it considers the floor only, it ignores the ceiling. So when you say 2.5, 2 is the floor, so the whole number will be considered when you are using floor division operator. Okay, next operator we have is exponent operator. We can say exponent or exponential, exponent only. Okay, exponent operator. For that we use a star. Exponent operator means you can use like this: 3 star 2. That means 3 square. 3 square means we know that is 9, right? These are the list of arithmetic operators. Let us see one example so that if someone is having any question, that will be clarified. Okay, I'll take two values, a equals to 5, b equals to 2. Okay, I'll say a plus b. It's very straightforward. 5 plus 2, 7. A minus b. 5 minus 2, 3. Straightforward. A star b. That means a into b multiplication. That is 10. Division. Say for example, b by a. 5 by 2. I mean 2 by 5. Okay, let me try this. A by b only. 2.5. A by b is a division operator. I got the output as 2.5. Next, I'll say a modulus b. Modulus will give the remainder. Okay, remainder is 1. So a modulus b means 1. I got as output. Next, floor division, I'll try a slash b. 2 is the output. Actually, a by b will give you 2.5. A floor division will give you 2 only. This 2 only will be considered. Okay, when you want to do how many times it will be divisible without having any decimals, you can use the floor. Next, I have exponent operator. So a star b. A is 5, b is 2. That means 5 square or 5 to the power of 2. It is calculated as 25. Okay, this is how we use arithmetic operators, and operators are very important topic in our programming world. Every day, in every line, every program, we will be using different types of operators. Okay, I